Maintenance, full maintenance, meaning all the fluids, check the serpentine belt, check the battery, which we just looked at. The battery is 4 years old, so we're going to recommend us replace the battery, just for the fact of when batteries fail, it's never at a good time. It'll usually catch you out in the middle of nowhere, or you want to get up, go to Cars and Coffee. So we're going to put a brand new battery in it, do all the fluids, look it over. So this is our good friend Jeff Ratner, so we are kind of paying back some of our debt. That way I don't feel as bad him working for us so much. And so we're going to get this up to date. We'll show you what we're doing. Oil, trans fluid, diff fluid, brake fluid, clutch fluid. Check the belt. We are replacing the battery, but we're going to look at this. If this looks remotely sketchy, I'm just going to replace it. Car's here for a valve adjustment. We're also pulling the injectors and checking them, cleaning them, because it has a bit of a stumble, nothing too bad. It's not very responsive. The idle is really low. I'll talk to you about those knobs here in just a second. Let's go take a look at the injectors. So the spray pattern doesn't look bad. Let's go speed them up a little bit. All right, faster still, let's let them run. And let's do a count. Let this run for a second. We're going to do a balance measure, see how close they are. We did end up running this through the bad injectors. It's surprisingly good. We have some injector cleaning fluid that we run through the machine, but believe it or not, when you have two bad injectors or one bad injector, a couple of sprays of this, let it sit for 10-15 seconds, run it back through the machine, it'll surprisingly bring out a lot of dirt. You'll see the dirt come out of the injector and it starts to flow nice again. So this stuff available at your parts store, everybody makes it. Has to be carbon choke cleaner. It can't be brake cleaner. This has different chemicals in there for cleaning. Does a really good job. Back in, back together. It's idling nice and smooth. We're going to let it warm all the way up and see if the idle is a little bit snappier. Basically, when you kick the air on, it would idle down way low, which sometimes the valve adjustment and injectors will help that. We'll find out here in a minute. We'll let it get up to temperature. All right, so test it, turn the AC on and off, and the idle staying pretty consistent. It's showing 1,000, but it's like 900. Turn it on and off. I'm basically manually turning the AC on or off right here, look. So I meant to tell you about these. We're gonna put these in the store soon. These are available and we have a few. This is what happens when they get sun damaged. The rubber comes off. We're gonna put those in the store soon. Yeah, smooth as can be. Listen to that motor now. Sounds nice and smooth. We can call him. This one is ready to go.
Alright, so before I put everything away, I still have the dash apart, the steering column apart. I like to go ahead and make sure everything works, because you wouldn't want to get it all back together then find out you have a problem. Right now everything's still exposed, so I'll go ahead and look out here real quick. Get the beep off. Now it's on. So everything's working as it should. Go ahead and turn it back off, and we'll close everything up together instead of a keyhole. Now you've got the engine start button, and you know that everything's working when that lights up. That button also is used for diagnostics, so that light will blink if there's ever a diagnostic need, which I've never had, so I've never actually seen it in use before. So I'm going to go ahead and start the car one more time so you can see it. I'm going to go clutch in for the safety. Brake turns it on. 2 beeps means the system's armed. And we press the button.
We've been bouncing back and forth on a couple of cars. He wants a different exhaust, and we have the NVIDIA Q300 that we advertised on YouTube. We'll give him a smoking deal on that, so he's gonna have a little bit of sound. It's a bolt-on, no changes. We're keeping the cat, it bolts right to the cat, so it actually helps with the smell. Nice thing about having a cat is you don't get the rotten egg smell, and it acts like a muffler in itself. So unless you're making a ton of power, these actually work just fine, so don't take it off. So let's get this off. We're gonna take this crossbeam off. This is something you can do in your driveway, but it's a bit of a pain because the exhaust weighs a ton and it's one piece. It's kind of bulky. You got a rubber hanger at the back, then at the front, same on the other side, and then one right here. All right, exhaust is done. Let's get it down. We'll get a sound clip. This is the Q300, by the way. It's actually a pretty good exhaust. The pipe here, I'm gonna go from millimeters to inches here. I know you guys love that. 70 millimeter all the way through here. This resonator is a little bit small, and then it goes to dual 2.5s, which are probably 65 millimeter. The mufflers are pretty good. We actually use this exhaust, and we'll change the tips to a different style tip. We'll take all this out. We'll re-weld this and brace it, and then we change that to a much larger resonator. And rather than having these clamps here, which are mainly designed for shipping and install purposes, we take this off and weld these complete. But I mean, for a cheap exhaust, I think this guy's gonna be extremely happy with this. All right, cold start clip. You just get a cold start sound. Give you an idea, this is 3,000 RPMs. I don't usually do exhaust audible tests. It's actually not too bad. Now burping. Actually sounds pretty good. It's not overpowering. It would be louder if you took the cat off. But if you do the larger resonator, it knocks a little bit of sound out of it. And obviously a smaller exhaust tip takes some of the droniness out of it, because it's smaller diameter. It keeps the resonance deep tones down. But there we go. Let's call him, tell him it's done, and he's got his stock exhaust that he can pick up. See this a lot. We carry these in the store, coil clips. Check them out, LHTperformance.com. Hopefully we will have the cam sensors. I just like flashing. I think nothing's dead, George. It was flashing when I looked at you earlier.
The light, but it's dead.
You did. You can get those at LHTperformance.com too. We'll soon have the injector clips. We did have them, but they sold out pretty quickly. So mine is charged. You want to use mine?
I don't need it. I was just doing it for your light.
It's set for big head adjustability. But there you go, right there. Coil clips, injector clips. We do have these in the store, LHTperformance.com. We've been testing these now for 4 months every single day. I only want to sell you guys what we use. We're not just a marketing company that's want to sell you junk. If I like it, I figure you'll like it. And we have these in the store. These are fantastic. I'm not just saying that. If you have one, go ahead and give me a feedback. LHTperformance.com, they're ready to ship.
All right, so I just got it running with the new exhaust manifold on there. It sounded like it had an exhaust leak. Well, it did. So I'm gonna see if I have one of these, and I'll get it bolted back together.
This one is back together, header is on, valve adjustment's done. So George did a bit of cleaning up while he was under here, because it looked a little sketch.
That was super high. This one was really long and dragging down there. There was another one rubbing the water pump pulley. You can see the clean spot on the pulley.
Yeah, you see it down there.
All the wiring was just loose. So everything's tied up and out of the way now.
Cleaned up, tied up. This is one of my favorite intakes, by the way. We're going to do a before and after on one of these intakes one of these days. Just to kind of show you a true, real deal back-to-back on the dyno. If you've been watching it, this car, we're waiting for the head to come back. This is basically an engine refresh, fix the tie bars, and change the rack. That one is going to the Dragon in 2 weeks. This one is getting picked up by the customer in about 2 minutes. So these knobs on our car are actually in really good shape, but we're starting to see more and more of them that are destroyed, and the sun just trashes these. They're almost like a plasticky rubber coating over this white base. That way the light shows through this white right here. Well, we're starting to carry these knobs in the store. I just got my first batch in. I want to show you how to install it right here. It is a Honda knob, these are the same part number. We're going to sell them individually, but if both the old knobs look kind of sketchy, you can buy them individual. I'm going to show you how to install them and remove them. Very, very simple, believe it or not. So you can use a towel for this if you don't have a lot of grip, or I mean, the old ones, you can even use a pair of pliers. But it's super simple. Just remember the orientation that they're coming off. You see where the little pointer is, and you're just going to grab the whole knob and squeeze it and pull it off. You see there is like a D shape in there. Make sure you put the new one on in the same orientation. That's why I'm telling you to pay attention to the direction of the line, just so you're not there shoving it on and damaging this portion right here. But the new one just pushes right on. There we go, there's our new one. And again, just look at that D-shape area right there, just to make sure you get the orientation correct. Just kind of roll it around until you feel it line up, and then just push it on until it bottoms out. Like I say, when you put the lights on, you can see it actually lights up through that knob. You see that? Matches all your interior. So there you go, those knobs are in the store at LHTperformance.com. It's that time again, October 7th and 8th this year. I know it's kind of short notice, I've been plugging it here and there. We are going up to the Dragon, Tail of the Dragon. So if you're not familiar with this, do a little bit of Googling just so you can kind of feel comfortable. If you're trying to bring your wife out there, you're trying to get your friend, your work friends, whatever, and you're kind of a little skeptical, do a little bit of reading, do a little bit of research so you know what I'm talking about here. I won't bring you somewhere that sucks, and I won't bring you somewhere that I don't think you'll like. If you follow this channel, you're probably going to like it. So the Tail of the Dragon is obviously a super twisty road. I think it's 318 turns. It's a blast. If you don't like it, there is a million other roads that you can go on, a lot of scenic roads. The Dragon is not a scenic road. It's left, right, left, right, left, right. Fun road. Don't get a chance to look around. Your passenger is either going to hate it, or they're going to love it, or they're going to get car sick. Once you get out of the Dragon, there is a million roads, a lot of scenic roads, a lot of picturesque scenery, beautiful roads. Some of the nicest roads I've ever driven. And you're going to meet about 300 people that do the same thing. And this is a good event. It's a family event. It isn't going to be a parking lot meet with yahoos doing burnouts and throwing stuff and fighting and getting into stereo competitions. There's none of that. To go in the middle of nowhere in an old car, you have to be an enthusiast, right? This isn't just a meet that you stumble across on the way home from work. You have to actually go there. So this is basically in the tri-state area. North Carolina, Tennessee, North Georgia, all that area there. The Dragon goes from North Carolina over to Tennessee, crosses the border. But the main meeting point is North Carolina for the first day, which is October 7th. October 8th is at the base of the dam. So if you want to check that out, one of the best car events I've ever done. We typically would do SEMA at the end of the year, but once we started doing this Dragon trip, not only is it a good enthusiast meet, we get to drive our cars, we get to hang out, we go up there as a group, we'll be meeting people up there. Come and find me. I will have the LHT flags up. You're going to see my white CRX, and I will have some merch. I'm going to do a t-shirt just for this event, and I'm only making it for this event. It won't be available in the store. I'll be bringing it up there. It's going to be cash only because I don't have any way of taking cards. The internet kind of sucks up there, so it's going to be cash only. If you're interested in that shirt, I'll be taking probably 100 shirts. Once they're gone, they're gone. Check it out. Classic Hondas on the Dragon. I'll put all the information at the end of this video. See you there.